There's no reason not to do it live.
There's several reasons not to do it live.
Matt, I fucked up.
Yeah, you did.
I did. I want you to know I fucked up, and I'm pretty sure you know what I fucked up on too.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, after we start, we will discuss. Everybody can mute now, Steve.
Oh, I was trying to make noise.
Oh, where are you?
Just
That's
to piss you
wonderful.
off.
Yeah.
Once a week, three laddies come together from distant lands to talk about Bigfeet, Martians, ghosts, time travel, chupacabras, and the Sweetwater legend.
I think we're all huge fans of the Sweetwater legend.
This is the Fortean Slip. With your host, Chris York.
Say no to Quaaludes? Fuck no. Wait a minute. No. Say yes.
Co-host, Steve Alcorn.
Like, take a break, shut my camera off, go
Yeah.
have a sandwich.
And sometimes, special guest, Matt Knapp.
Just
Right, you're
accept it for what it is and just watch it and enjoy it.
They don't know who you are. They don't know what you want. If you're looking for entertainment, you may have come to the wrong podcast. But what they do have is a very particular set of skills.
There are no cows.
No cows.
No.
No cows were harmed in the making of this incident. We often wish that your relationship went much like that of the praying mantis.
I thought that was a reference to everything being green.
Yeah, sure you did. Carry on, gentlemen. I'm going to do something else for a little while.
Wow, Steve, would you like us to stop the program so you continue to do your shit?
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 138, 39. I fucked up and forgot again. It's one of those episodes, and we're going to call this the episode that should have been titled Djinn and Juice, not Gin and Tonic. That's where I fucked up, Matt.
I mean, what are you, like fucking 85, 90?
I'm fucking dumb as shit is what I am.
I saw a polling this week. Post something about him making himself an old fashioned. I'm like, really? How about a Tom Collins?
Oh, Jesus. As soon as I looked up right before we started and I went, oh, fuck. You know how many times I listened to that song?
Yeah. Like it was the anthem for a good part of our lives.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Yes. We will, at one point in the show, be talking about Djinn or genies or whatever the fuck they're called. I don't know. They have so many different names. But yes, I immediately knew I fucked up as soon as I looked up and saw that and went, you dumb motherfucker. Did you see the Black He-Man Samuel L. Jackson thing that I posted? By the power of motherfucker.
That was great.
Did they speak English in Eternia? I saw that fucking thing and I was just like, this is amazing. Who the fuck did this? Because it's great. I found some fucking awesome stuff this past week online. It's been a great week for pictures / memes, to say the least. I don't know how your like page has been doing, Matt, but
like shit.
Has it?
So I'm approaching the threshold mark, my goal.
Well, okay, so back up a minute. because last we spoke about your like page. Last we left Matt.
When we last left our heroes,
Matt, the like page was soaring.
you're soaring. So, like, I'm trying to reach the 10K mark.
Yeah.
And congratulations to you. I see you're rapidly approaching 25,000.
I'm like 250 likes away from 25K.
Yeah. So, see, all mine was, mine took off and it was like sunshine and roses. And then I'm sure this has nothing to do with Facebook. No, it wouldn't.
Oh,
It
no,
wouldn't.
no.
I got to about 9,600 and everything just suddenly tanked. And now I am crawling and like pulling my way along.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter how much I post. It doesn't matter what I post.
Yeah, you'll and you'll have those moments too. I mean, it's like I go through spurts with it. The thing will it'll fucking soar for like fucking a week or two, and then they'll just fucking boom, and then it'll level out somewhere. It's really weird how the trends go with those things.
I'm very happy with it, and obviously I appreciate everybody that has liked it. If you haven't, think about it. And but yeah, now that I'm close to the 10K mark, it's just how it goes.
Yeah.
This is taking forever.
I've decided I've given up on the idea of like remember we were talking about like centralizing your YouTube channel into one thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've given the fuck up on that.
Okay.
Which I had anyway for the most part. Like the Fortean Slip has just been like this mishmash of shit that I put out onto it. But I decided today as an epiphany, something that I'd like to do, and I don't know how well it'll work. And I'll reach out to people, in the future. But I wanted to do a show on my own, and I'm still probably going to put it on the Fortean Slip YouTube channel, but it's not going to have anything to do with Fortean topics. I'd like to really talk to addicts, either people who have gotten themselves clean, or even people who are, willing to admit they're right in the fucking middle of it. And I just thought it was like something that came to me today. I was like, I've got a unique experience. I have a little bit of insight. I'm not saying I can fucking fix people. That's not within my wheelhouse. But I can at least talk to them. So I've been thinking about doing that.
It's
And
actually a good idea, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
so I'm going to launch that pretty soon. I got to find some people. I'm going to say this right now. Alan Henniges, if you're willing to admit that you're a roaring alcoholic, you can be my first guest.
You would allow Alan Henniges to be on your show?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. If he's
Alan's
willing to
got some
admit,
pretty
if he's
strange
willing to
messages.
admit that he's a fucking roaring alcoholic piece of shit, low life motherfucker.
I was going to ask you
Sorry,
if
Matt.
I could hijack the show for a moment today.
Sure.
Go ahead.
But here you are addressing everything for me.
Did Alan message you, Matt?
He did.
I'm sorry. I referred him to you.
Whenever you have a free moment, I would still like to, make a lengthy statement about some things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You throw it in anywhere here. Here's the thing. Alan is not going to ever, and I am going to break my rule of not speaking about him tonight. He will never admit to the bullshit that I want him to admit to, and it's not bullshit. It's the shit that he does. No, you cannot join the Fortean Slip group. Alan, you dude, you've harassed the shit out of every single one of us so much, we're just going to just stop. Like I've basically blocked it. Like I don't. The only reason I see you is because you've tried to join the group.
I talk to Alan sometimes.
Hmm?
Alan wants to buy some shit from me, so I'm cool with the dude.
Yeah.
As long as his cash is green, I'm all right.
Steve's like, cash and carry, motherfucker.
Whatever, man.
So like
Cash is green.
I've already had like a day riddled with anxiety. I'll do my best to get through this, but basically, I mean, I've said this before. Like, I'm on this show,
Yes.
and I enjoy it,
Mhm.
and I also have other projects that are my own, and I'm involved with projects. Sometimes I'm on as a guest on other shows, but whenever it comes to this show in particular, even though I'm on here, this show is 100% Chris's show. He has all the say, all the power, all the control. He makes all the decisions. Sometimes he asks my opinion. He asks Steve's opinion, Katie's, but he makes the ultimate decisions.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes I make suggestions to him, and he makes the decision to do it.
A lot of times I go with your decisions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're friends outside of the show, and we talk about things that have nothing to do with the show.
Mm-hmm.
And on this show, because of Chris, I'm allowed to speak freely and sometimes delve off into personal things about myself, and pretty much it's a release for all of us.
Yeah.
On other projects, I may or may not do that. On other projects, sometimes I'm just the host and it's not about my opinions or anything, and I'm just trying to give the guest the spotlight. We all make decisions how we run our own projects. So whenever I was approached this past week asking if I wanted to interview somebody, and I said yes, and went down this fucking rabbit hole.
Oh no.
Trying to, I was excited. It was something I'm interested in.
Oh no.
Yes.
And like immediately I have to decipher what's being said to me, research it, find out that like, okay, well, I don't know if he's telling the fucking truth or not because the names he's giving me are wrong. And then he gives me a right name. And he's saying that he's talking to this person and everything he's saying is making sense.
Wait,
And
Alan's making sense?
I didn't say Alan's name.
Sorry.
And then he's going to have this person email me to work out the details of the interview. Okay, fine. That's awesome. Here's my email address. Done. It's confirmed.
In the works.
Everything's good. 2 days later, when I had yet to receive an email, I knew that something was probably up. Then I receive a follow-up message about 3 or 4 days after the initial conversation to tell me that this person refuses to come on because Chris smokes pot, we promote drug usage, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, so you were asking me if I wanted to interview them on the fucking Fortean Slip because I don't have, then why are you even fucking talking to me about that? Like, we've had this conversation. Like, I thought I was being asked about a guest to come on my show. No. So not only was I misled and approached about having a guest on this show, but then you're going to tell me that they've like gone and listened to past episodes, and because of like the subject matter and the things that we've discussed on this show, they don't want to come on here. That's fucking fine. That's fine. Without even like, I know Chris's opinion on it. I can speak on this matter. That's fucking great. Because let me tell you something. If that holier than thou motherfucker thinks that he's on a fucking TV show where nobody involved in that process has ever sinned or smoked weed or done drugs or alcohol or whatever, I promise you he is surely mistaken. But if he wants to participate in that, I don't see what the difference is. But from now on, if you're going to approach me about something that is actually mine and not Chris's or anybody else's, and let me handle it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just leave me the fuck alone.
Right now would be a great time to light up, Chris.
I don't like to smoke during the show anymore.
Yeah.
I'll take a puff before the show, but I don't like to smoke during the show anymore because it fucks me. It fucks me up because I'll lose my train of thought, or I'll lose a thought more often than not if I do that. So I made a conscious decision not to do it during the show anymore. I have like a couple of times since I took my long break there, but you know, it's I mean, I don't feel the need to do it anymore. It gets in the way. But my big thing right now is I need to fucking quit smoking. Like that's the fucking it's got to fucking happen. Because like I was telling you before the show, Steve, I gotta stop. I had to stop using my vape. Like I just had to stop using it. It was getting to the point where it was making me cough, gag.
Yeah, no, I was at the same point.
And
Fuck
I
this
was,
shit.
yeah.
Are we allowed to swear, Matt? I mean, is that?
I don't know.
Against
I don't know.
whatever Alan.
I mean, it's fine to do whatever you want to on this show, but apparently whatever you do on this show
affects
screws you for everything else as well.
Damn.
But yeah, I picked up a big box of fucking Orbit fucking gum. I think it's Orbit. Yeah, Orbit gum, and I'm gonna make the attempt because I did wind up going and buying smokes and yeah, it's I need to just be done with it. I need to be done with it. So I'll probably be a fucking massive prick for a fucking few days.
No.
Not worse, Matt. But I mean, dude, somewhere this week, I don't know where it was. I haven't looked, and I can go back, I guess, and look because I think I left it in there. Hold on. Oh, one person wants to join this group. Requested May 23rd. Oh, so it was yesterday. He requested to join the Fortean Slip group, which is like, by the way, like I try to do stuff in the Fortean Slip group. If you guys want to post stuff in the Fortean Slip group, I have to approve it. And the reason being is because people like to try to post bullshit stuff, and people like to post stuff that is could get the group banned. If I publish it, like anything that's published to that group, I'm responsible for. So but if people want to post stuff, I'm more than willing to let stuff go into that group. That's for you guys to post in. I will post stuff in there, but the stuff that I post is on the like page. I'll share stuff from the like page into, into the group. But that's pretty much for you guys. And there's a bunch of people in there, and some people do participate in there, and but for the most part, nobody does. And I think I don't know if they understand how the group works or what. You remember how we were when we met in Taser, Steve?
Oh yeah.
Buddy,
You remember meeting Chris and Taser?
I've been drinking tonight, and you're the one acting like you've been drinking.
I'm deep in thought about this whole Alan thing. Because it's my fault. I sent Alan over to Matt. So
I know you did, because I was supposed to deliver the message to you that the guy said no because of our association on this show.
Yeah. So.
Which isn't going to stop,
Oh,
I mean,
no.
like,
You got to tell me who it is after the show.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Alan never gave me a name. What Alan asked me to do was ask Chris, and I said, "You got to ask Chris." And Alan
But
said,
I was
"Chris,
not approached
fuck
like
me."
that. You have to understand, Chris's name never came up until the very last message about why the guy said no.
Well, and then Alan says, "What about Matt?" And I said, "Well, maybe Matt can help you. I don't know." And I sent him over to
Yeah.
him. So
And I was, and it was asked of me, do you want to interview this person?
Well, Alan's never.
And for some reason, since I'm a podcast host pertaining to the same subject matter, I thought he was asking me if I wanted to interview somebody. Stupid me. Stupid me.
He was asking around you. Was what he was doing. I hate when people do that. I fucking hate it. That stuff like that drives me crazy.
I think what Alan may think is that we sit here and talk to each other 24/7 or some shit.
Yeah.
And we don't. I mean, you guys talk.
I talk to Chris a lot, but like we've even had this discussion on the air before that this is Chris's show.
Everything has to go.
Matt and I talk during the week, and I talk to you, Steve, during the week, but we're not talking. It's not all the time. We're not like.
And it's certainly not like shop talk.
And
that's not that all the time either. Like,
well,
sometimes
here's what happens though. When Alan just messages me, it's not something I ever take seriously. So it's like, yeah, go talk to Matt. And I didn't think he'd actually do it.
You fucking no. Wait a minute. Back up a minute, Matt. I'm calling him out right now. Fucking shit stirring Alcorn.
Well, no, I had a little chuckle
about
it. I did definitely had a little chuckle about it when I said.
Oh, I'm sure you did. You fucking
because I knew I'd hear about it.
Fucking double.
Well, at first, I tried to get him to talk to you, Chris, but then he told me you had him blocked, and
yeah,
that ain't.
And he will continue to be blocked.
So I figured, yeah,
Matt's the nice one. He won't have him blocked. Go talk to him.
No, he asked about you, and I said, well, maybe Matt will help you.
But don't tell him it's for Chris's show. Make him think it's for his own. Get his hopes up, and then crush them.
Well, did you explain that to him?
Do you think I said another word to him until now?
I can listen.
I had to walk away from the computer. I was reading Leslie the messages, so I would have somebody that understood what was happening.
I can't understand that. I just don't. I have to. It's hard to decipher sometimes.
Yeah, I can't. After all, I've banned him from everything, pretty much. Like I couldn't handle it. It was just he wouldn't stop. I'd be like, listen, dude, seriously, just stop talking to me. Like, stop. That's all I'm asking you. And he couldn't do that. So the man is an issue. But no, seriously, I do. So what happened was, excuse me, every day, because since I got my Kindle, I check every day because Kindle has daily deals, and I'll grab like some books that are kind of like outside of, the normal stuff that I read generally. So I come across today, in their daily deal section, they had Beautiful Boy, the book about the movie there, the father's story of his son's drug addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like $250 or something like that. So I fucking grabbed it. And that's when I had the idea for it. I had like an epiphany. I'm like, you should talk to fucking people who are addicts. Like, I mean, because I'm fascinated by it because it's like that whole thing of, you want to understand like the thing that you're fucked up about. So I'm fascinated because I'm an addict. I happen to fucking nip my addiction in the bud, and I don't hold to the same tenets of like being sober that other people do. Like I still drink, I still smoke, but I don't do the other things.
Well, you're not approaching it from a professional trying to fix somebody. You're approaching it from, I've been through the shit. I know what it's like, and I want to hear your story. Yeah.
Yeah. And I people's stories can be really, they can be like, they can take you on a trip. Like some of these people have just been through hell. and then come out the other side and made something out of their lives. The movie Wild, I watched that back when I was married to my second wife, and I related to that movie on so many levels. So many levels. As an addict and somebody who just replaced my addictions with other things like fucking sex and other bullshit.
Well, something that we've also talked about before in private, it would also be a good opportunity for people maybe to say the things about their own feelings that they have that don't get said whenever they're addicted or on the drugs, to the people that, are affected by their addiction outside.
Yeah.
The same people that they can't talk to afterwards because then the people don't believe them, that, that whole paradox.
Like my kids will never understand. I mean, maybe they will. Maybe someday they will. But they'll never understand like the how pivotal they were in my sobriety, like how my realization of them and their part in everything made me go, oh fuck.
Well, whenever you see like movies and TV shows depicting addiction, one of the common themes that they use in those stories are, the parent or the friend, or you don't know who you're hurting. You don't know what you're doing to us, But the fact of the matter is that the addict does know.
Oh, yeah.
And they feel horrible about it.
Oh, yeah.
They're still people. They still have a heart. Mm-hmm. But the addiction is so powerful that they do it anyways. They have to.
Yeah.
And being able to like voice that, I think would be a very powerful thing, and giving them a platform to do it where they're not being judged or criticized, or they're not being attacked while they're trying to say it.
And I don't have a problem if people want to come on anonymously, they don't want to show their face. They don't want to give their real name. I'll keep things, secret or private or whatever,
You're legit.
Yeah. Like like come to me with something that's, if you have a problem and you want to talk about it, come to me. I'll be willing to talk about it. I think it'd be a good idea. Give me a good outlet to talk about that type of stuff. Because I mean, I just the whole thing, what people go through, how they get where they wind up, and how people find redemption. I think it's beautiful. I think she says at the end of that movie, Wild, if it wasn't for all of this stuff, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be where I am.
And the shit you experience, being involved in drugs and stuff like that, the stories, the things that you witness happen, behind closed doors.
Oh yeah.
There's crazy stories, everybody's got them. You can see horrible things that like the world doesn't even know takes place.
Yeah. I was a motherfucker when I was in it. I was a POS. I was a big piece of shit. And I can wholly admit it. I did fucking stupid fucking things. And I would continue to do stupid things, even though I would sit there and go, you're doing stupid fucking things.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. That was the hardest part for me, was sitting there and looking at myself in the mirror and going, you're intelligent. You fucking know better. And still fucking just let's go. Because you're in it and you're lost. But yet you still have those moments where you go, fuck, I'm a piece of shit. and then you're back in it and you're fucking high again. And even when you're high, you have those moments. But I just think it would be a good idea to talk to people. Like I said, I've been through some pretty horrid fucking dog shit. I never went what I would call, too far, but I went pretty fucking deep. I've known people who have gone a lot further, and I knew people that wound up dying. I knew a woman, and I won't say her name, but we all knew who she was, and we all knew she was just a fucking mess. And that woman had more fucking pill powder coming out of her fucking nose every day of her life than I can even fucking describe to you people. It was caked like around her nostrils, like just I can't.
So
It was gross. It was gross. We all knew she did it, and she wound up fucking doing a pill that was just fucking too strong, and boom, gone. It happens. People watch it happen indifferently. And I can remember being back then and saying, Jesus Christ, but no one would say anything to her. But again, I look back on mine and hardly anybody said anything to me. There's one person that,
if they had, though, would it have made a difference?
Yeah, it did actually.
For you?
There were two people that did.
Well, it'd have to be the right person then.
There were two people.
Yeah.
And as much as I never want to speak about her on this show, my second wife, she left me a note one night. She would go to work on Thursday nights. And I would, it was the only night she ever worked. She would leave at like 7 or 8 o'clock and come home in the morning. And I would always plan on it, so I would make sure I had something. And I had a little container that kept all my little stuff in it. And she had found it, and she left me a note in it. So when I got into there and got into it that night, it was in there. And it would be, I have it here somewhere, because I've kept the thing. It was because it was one of the things that got me to where I am. And she basically said, I know you're in it, and I know I can't stop you, but I'm here for you and I love you. Yeah. And my uncle, whom she spoke to, my Uncle Tim, God bless him. He, right after my Uncle Matt passed away, I was at one of the get-togethers, and she had gone to the store with him and said something to him. And he walked by me in the house and just nonchalantly he didn't make a fucking show of anything. He didn't like drag me off. He just leaned in by my ear and he said, hey, don't you think you've had enough? And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he just looked at me and he goes, Chris, don't you think you've had enough? And it fucking hit me pretty hard. So, yeah, sometimes when people do say something, it matters. Between those two things and me waking up one morning with my face in the fucking toilet, which was how I spent every morning back then. I would get up and have my morning puke. It was great. Good times. I'd get up and just fucking vomit horrendously into the fucking toilet. And I got up and I sat in my fucking chair. And I was just sitting there feeling just horrid. I knew I wasn't going to go to work that day because I just couldn't even get out of my own way. I felt like a bag of shit. And all of a sudden I just thought, if You know, if your son and your daughter were adults, you know, what would they say to you right now? And it fucking smacked me in the face like a big dick. Just fucking boom. And it took me, God, it was a good 9 months before I was completely clean. I was still sneaking shit every now and then. But I knew I wanted it. I knew I wanted sobriety. And I'll never forget. And this is the thing that pissed me off. And this is one thing I will speak about my second marriage. Enough time has passed. She got me my dog for being sober. And then when she got divorced from me, she kept that dog that I got for getting sober. But I've struggled with the fact that I don't hate her. I don't hate her at all. But there's definitely some negativity that goes that way. But I have to accept the fact that she was pivotal in my sobriety, and if it was not for her, I would not be where I am today. I probably would not be alive. I can't tell you how many times I woke up in my car driving. I can't even tell you. I can't tell you how many times I woke up in my car whilst driving, but then with the car on the side of the road. I should not fucking be here. And, you know, that was the thing. Like I thought about that because I remember I'd wanted to see that movie, Beautiful Boy. I'd want to watch it. Dude, you should watch it. Fucking watch that movie. And I still haven't. And I plan on it now because I got the fucking book there and I think I'm going to delve into it. But it just got me thinking about where I was and where I've been and where other people have been and where they are right now. There are people who are fucking in it right now who just might need somebody to talk to, you know, and I'm down for that. You know, I'm not going to let you into my home, but I mean, if you can get on the fucking computer and talk to me over the fucking internet, we'll fucking talk. You know, I'll do it.
You should let them into your home. You get the couch, like a psychiatrist or something.
Yeah. No, if I had like a podcast studio, I'd do it.
Yeah.
Like I'd do that shit. I'd be down for that.
Are you going to do this on a separate channel or is this going to be on this channel?
I'm going to do it on the YouTube channel. I'm going to do it on the same YouTube channel, but I'm going to do it on a separate podcast channel. I'm not going to do it on the same Anchor channel. I'm going to do it on a completely different
because it's something that should be separate. I mean,
it's separate. It's different. And I'm not even going to label it with the Fortean Slip stuff. I think I'm just going to do it as a thing and you know, just something for me to do. Something interesting. Because they're normal everyday people. That are addicts who have fucking interesting fucking stories, you know, and they deserve to be heard. Like there are people out there who need to know that they're not the only ones that go through this shit. Wait a minute. I'm gonna address for a second. Depressing? I'm sorry. You know, sometimes we talk about other shit. I'm in a depressed fucking mood right now. So, I'm sorry. How you like that? No, well, I do got some shit going on, but I'm not like in a depressed mood. But this is, it was something that really hit me that I wanted to discuss with people. And I thought it would be a fucking great idea. Like that we talked to some fucking yahoos, you know, in these communities that have been through some shit. You know, and some of the people who've listened to this show, I'm sure, you know, have been addicts in the past, or I'm sure there are some that are still addicts right now. I'm almost willing to bet everything on it.
And addiction is addiction.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol.
Correct. There are people who are addicted to all kinds of things. There are sex addicts who do crazy shit. You know,
There's gambling addicts.
Oh,
you know,
gambling.
shopping addicts,
Oh,
eating addicts.
God.
You know, everything.
Gambling addicts are almost they're one of the strangest ones to
Yeah,
me because their high comes from losing.
yeah. Everybody thinks it's them trying to win money, but it's not.
It's like, what the fuck?
I've met a couple in my life, and like that's the other thing about gambling addicts is like, other than people that are involved directly with them, like it's not like a drug addict or an alcoholic. You're not going to run across them and like, oh, they're high right now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, unless you have access to their personal finances or their finances affect your livelihood, you're not
Yeah.
going to know about it. Oh, they just like to go to the casino.
Dude, I worked with a guy. I may have told this story on the show before. I worked with a guy at Humpty Dumpty Potato Chip Company. That company no longer exists. It was a company in the state of Maine. They said, you're going to train this guy. I'm like, okay. So he comes on, and every place we stopped, he was buying scratch tickets. I didn't think anything of it. There's people that buy a lot of scratch tickets, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right. So he was with me for like, I don't know how many days, you know, buying scratch tickets all the fucking time. And then he went off to go with somebody else to train on a route to do the route. And he took the route, and all of a sudden the guy was gone. They had to fill the route again. And one of the other drivers says, did you hear what happened? No. He says, you noticed when he was training with you, he was buying all kinds of scratch tickets. I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, he was taking the cash from the stops and just buying scratch tickets.
Jeez.
Oh, fuck.
To the tune of like a fucking lot.
One of the first people I met in the Bigfoot world, he was like actually the leader of an organization. Like he had formed the group and everything. And he was a gambling addict. And he ended up losing his home, his car. His wife had to divorce him. And I mean, he lost everything.
Yeah.
Just could not stop.
Yeah, you get deep with shit. You know, I remember at one point when it was so bad. I got to a point where it was like almost anything would do. Like if I could find another type of a drug, it would fill the void.
Right.
So I was just grabbing fucking whatever. You know, one weekend it was this, another weekend it was that. It just got crazy.
Yeah, we knew a guy. It was one of my friend's older brothers, actually. And I mean, like, man, I could probably get him on your show. But we called him Tweaker Jeff.
Oh, like, I fucking love his name already.
Yeah. But, and like, okay, you hear Tweaker Jeff, like, obviously you're going to think, okay, he's a meth addict. No, he was an addict. Period. It didn't matter what the drug was.
Yeah.
But it got to the point over the years that we called him Tweaker Jeff because he was always tweaking. And like, I'm saying, this guy, you could give him a sugar pill and he would psychosomatically start tripping and tweaking out on it, thinking that he was high as shit. Else. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And he would spin out off nothing, like nothing.
Wow. I knew people growing up that see, and this is the weird thing too for me. Like I wound up getting addicted to pills, to opiates. And I can remember being younger before I had gotten addicted to them, before I'd even gotten involved in them. And there was a local guy, he is now passed away, Lee Stevens. And Lee was known as like the pill popper. And everybody's like, Lee is a fucking mess, dude. They'd be like, he's fucking, Lee can tell you how to take this pill and this pill, this pill, this pill, and give you this effect. Like, it was like that type of shit. And like, so I knew, I even knew going in, like how dangerous it was. And I still fucking did it. But I remember how it happened, and it was slow. I remember the night it happened. I fucking remember it like it was fucking yesterday. I broke my elbow at a gas station. And my buddy Greg and his cousin Chris took me to the fucking took me to Maine Medical. Was it Maine Medical Emergency? I don't fucking remember. One of those hospitals. And they gave me a prescription for Tylox when I left. And I think they filled it right there at the hospital. So they were giving me a ride home, and on the ride home, Greg goes, so what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, I'm going to go home and take one of these and relax. Just broke my fucking elbow. And he's like, yeah, you should come over the house. And I'm like, well, why? He's like, because we'll fucking break those things open and have a party. And I was like, okay. So went over to his house and fucking started fucking snorting Tylox. It's fucking smoking weed. And from there, it just fucking, it was a little bit here, a little bit there, and explosion. Before I knew it, I was doing well over 240 pills a month. That was insane.
I knew a guy that I had met him after his pill addiction. And honestly, whenever he told me about his pill addiction days, he didn't really go into the details, but he was like, yeah, back in college, I was addicted to pills, painkillers, blah, blah, blah. And I honestly, as messed up as this sounds, I didn't believe him. Because he just like, whatever, man, like it was just one of those kind of people that like exaggerates about things to like sound mysterious sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And there had been a time where I had observed like, he had gotten some beer. He had gotten like a 12-pack of beer. He was staying at my house, and he took like a couple hits off a joint and drank like 2 beers and was like passed out and puking on himself. And I was just like, there's no way this guy was a pill addict. Just, no way.
Right.
Like, well, about 6 months after that, he had hurt his back, and he was always complaining about his back, and like he keeps re-hurting his back. And the stories of how he re-hurts the back, how the back injury comes back, are just kind of like, really? You got hit by a car walking across the parking lot of a gas station, and it was a hit and run, and you live in a town of like 300 people and they didn't catch him? Like stories like that. But I didn't really think anything of it until he lived 3 hours away from Tulsa. And he called me one night, and he wants to like come into town and stay the night at my house.
Oh no.
And I'm like, all right. So he gets here, and within 10 minutes of being here, this was whenever my great grandmother was still alive. And she had all kinds of pills. And she had these back treatments where they would inject basically super glue into her vertebrae to hold it together from degenerative bone disease.
Whoa.
So she had like the patches, she had painkillers, she had everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she got addicted to pills too.
Yeah.
She got addicted to the painkillers because of that. But within the first 10 minutes of him being at my house, he asked me, does your grandma have any pills in there? I'm all out. And that's when I realized he really was a pill addict. He had been telling me the truth. And he's addicted to them again.
Mm-hmm.
He drove 3 hours to get to my house to ask me to go steal pills from my great grandmother.
Wow.
Great guy. He was my best friend.
Wait a
I
minute.
trusted him with my life.
Wait, did you do it?
No.
I was going to ask, but I was afraid to.
No.
Good man. Good man. That makes me proud of you, Matt.
Sorry,
I'll be
man.
honest. I did go in there and act like I looked around and said that she didn't have any.
Yeah. I see. I've known people who have gotten into it before. I had a friend who actually he told me, he's like, dude, he's like, I got into my mom's liquid morphine after she passed, and he's like, I wound up dumping it all down the toilet. It was just, he's like, oh. He's like, it was bad. But I can't. No. It was a bad time. It was a bad time, but it's something that I went through, and I don't, so, and I don't mind talking about it. I have no problem whatsoever talking about it. Fuck it. One time when I was dating, this is a couple of years ago, one of the girls that I was dating, it's actually the one that we did the first episode of the reboot on, Steve. I don't think you were here for that, man. Where I got caught. When we went on our first date, like I'm wicked honest about shit. So I told her about, stuff, and she was just like, this sounds like creepily familiar, because it sounded like her ex-boyfriend. So she'd get all weirded out. And I'm like, if you want to, like, end the date, like, right here, that's cool. Because she was all wigged out. And miraculously, like, 15 minutes later, she was sucking my dick. So, I mean, I think everything was okay.
So at first, she was like, wait, you remind me of my ex-boyfriend. And then she was like, wait, you remind me of my ex-boyfriend.
Yeah, that was a rough one. But yeah, so I'll probably be posting some stuff, trying to reach out to some people to try and get that in the works, because I'd like to start doing it. It just sounds like something. I don't want to say that it sounds fun, but it sounds like it'd be something that I would enjoy doing, that I have passion for. I like talking to people about it. I think people's journeys can be amazing, and people, listen, if you're in it, like, right now, especially if you listen to the show, hit me up. I'll talk to you. It can be horrible, and sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. And maybe you can't talk to the fucking people who are around you because they're not going to listen, or you don't want to hear what they have to say. But you can listen to somebody who's detached from it, or, who has a few degrees of separation. But, I'll be more than willing to talk to anybody. So hit me up, and, we'll see. I'll keep, people who want to stay anonymous, they can stay anonymous. You bring yourself, when you come into StreamYard, the way we do this here, you bring yourself in the way you want. Like, Katie brings herself in with a little damn Bigfoot cutout. Matt has his photo. You could put up whatever you want, whatever name you want. Personally, I'd like to know who you are, just so I can know. I'd like to not be duped by people, if at all possible. That'd be nice if I could just have decent people who want to honestly talk about something. Because it can be, like I said, it can be really hard, and it can be hard to talk to people who you're close to, because they may be too critical, or I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to judge you in that way.
What about people on the other side? Say, like,
people
somebody
who have people who are have addictions in their lives. Yeah,
and may not understand it or know how to talk to them.
Absolutely. I'm more than willing to talk to those
or
people,
just want to share a story of maybe a lost one that they've lost to addiction.
Yeah, like if somebody has somebody that they've lost to heroin addiction, or cocaine, whatever the case may be, hit me up. I'm more than willing to talk to you about it. It's some horrible shit. When you can't see any way out of your own hole, but literally, the lip of the hole is right there for you to grab and pull yourself fucking out of. the whole time. But you just can't imagine being able to reach it and pull yourself out. That's a horrible fucking feeling. You know? When I took my little break from fucking weed, I did that because I had to prove to myself that wasn't one of those fucking holes. That was what I was doing. And I had a lot of people say, you know, well, why isn't this for good? Just because it's not. But it may be one day. I will tell people that. You know, it may be one day that it's for good. You know, I'm just not, you know, I enjoy it. It's something like I like. You know, I like having a nice little glow on and going and doing my shit. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't affect anybody. I'm not puking my fucking brains out. I'm not fucking, you know, unable to do anything. I'm not fucking unable to fucking satisfy my partner sexually because my fucking dick won't get hard because of the pills. Those were fun days, let me tell you. But I mean, hey, whoever the fuck wants to talk about it, hit me up. Seriously, you know, I'm very easy to hit up on Facebook. The like page is there. The link to the like page is underneath the video on YouTube always. So hit me up. I'd love to talk to you people. Like I said, I had the epiphany today. It wasn't anything I planned on talking about tonight at all. But I saw that book, I bought it, and I really would like to talk because I've been addicted to opiates, but I've never been where people who have been addicted to heroin have been. It's very similar, but I was not at that deep. And I'd love to talk to people like that. You know, and I actually do know a few people in my own personal life that I might reach out to. So there may be somebody I may have in my home if I can get them to come in and talk about it. But you know, but it can be a scary thing. So I understand if people don't want their names being known or whatnot. So. And I know this is kind of depressing, people, but, you know, fuck you.
There's depressing shit in the world, and we can't just ignore it.
Earlier, this is my second show today. I did slip into the night with Holly earlier today because her and I haven't been able to fucking hook up for a show for like 3 weeks. And this guy's like, starts talking about stuff on the Fortean Slip because I had referenced something on the slip. And he's like, well, you guys might want to get more in bed with the conspiracy theorists if you want to friggin' do a show about cryptids and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I fucking tell you what I believe as it is. You're not going to get a fucking fake me. Do I have a fucking curly mustache? Is there a fucking big top? Do you see fucking elephants behind me? No. This is what it is. You know, I'm not here to fucking present you with fucking bullshit. Like, there are times when we do bullshit, but that's not what I'm here to present you with. If I'm going to talk about a subject, I'm going to talk about it honestly. We're going to talk about Djinn tonight. Do you think I seriously believe that there are little fucking things that come out of a fucking lamp somewhere?
There's not?
No, Steve, and you can't sell them on eBay either. Ask Matt.
Fuck.
You can. I mean, I can't.
Oh, I'm not going to. I'm sure you can, but I'm not going to.
I always thought that would be like a funny gimmick, though, for like a movie. Because, like, you know how everybody like has like the whole like mysterious adventure where you find the hidden lamp in the cave or something like that.
Yeah.
When in modern times, actuality, you just go on eBay and like buy it.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know, that'd be pretty funny if somebody like did a movie where they just like bought it off eBay, but it's
And
like
it's actually
real.
yeah. That'd be kind of interesting. That's an interesting twist. But yeah, might as well segue that little fucking portion of the show. Djinn or genies, or a genie, or I don't fucking know. I don't think we've ever really talked about them on the show. I can't.
We mentioned Sinbad once.
Yeah, that whole bullshit. But
in
that's
the movie.
Yeah, that bullshit fucking Mandela effect crap. People think
Sure.
Sinbad did a fucking goddamn.
He did.
He didn't. But I don't think we've ever really talked about the actual creatures. I can't remember a show that we ever did. If we did, I'm fucking unaware of it.
I don't think we did.
Yeah,
I've never talked about them.
And it's not going to be a whole lot. Katie and I were talking earlier, and she said I just wanted to do like a kind of like give an overview of them because I don't know. What are we gonna do? Fucking stories of people that fucking said they fucking found a djinn?
Well, I mean, in certain cultures, it's like a huge belief,
Right?
but not in my culture.
Right.
I don't know shit about it.
So, djinn is the Djinn is the Arabic word for genie, born in pre-Islamic lore. They're a type of spirit that can be good or evil. But they are not immortal. They roam the wilderness and are capable of shape-shifting into any form. The earliest jinn lore describes them as malicious and jealous spirits that are similar to but not equivalent to a demon, possessing supernatural powers. The Quran mentions that King Solomon captured jinn to use as slaves, harboring their power for his advantage. He made them build statues, gardens, and even the Temple of Jerusalem. That's pretty fucking cool. I did not know that. Whenever Solomon wanted to travel to faraway lands, the jinn would carry him on their backs. Now, I'm surprised I did not know about this because I do know about the Lesser Key of Solomon, which is like a book of magic. So I might have to look into that a little further. Muslim theology also absorbed belief in jinn, but they were evolved into a good-natured spirit. They believe jinn are born of smokeless fire. Ooh. Smokeless fire. So every time I light
So natural gas.
So every time I light my torch for fucking
Yeah.
for a dab hit, I'm birthing jinn. Parallel to their belief that angels are made of light. Jinn and angels were both created prior to man, therefore a higher being than man. But similar to humans, jinn do have free will and the ability to choose to be good or evil. Because they are not immortal, they are vulnerable to capture by other mortals who can harbor their powers for themselves. All jinn have a strict code of honor. They may use trickery and deceit. However, they will never betray a promise or a negotiated deal. That whole "be careful what you wish for" thing. It seems to be all born out of that type of bullshit. Where they turn. What was that fucking movie? The Wishmaster. Did you ever watch that one, Matt?
Yeah.
Where everything they wished for, like it somehow got twisted into some fucking bad bullshit.
Like the weirdest literal interpretation you could possibly have.
Right. The types of jinn that there are
extra dry.
Yeah. The Tanqueray. What's that? Fucking Bombay.
Yes, Bombay Sapphire.
Bombay Sapphire. I couldn't get the second half. No, the types of jinn are. I hope I getting this one right. The Merid are the most powerful and proud type of jinn. They have the ability to grant wishes from mortals, but would require imprisonment, a battle, or bribery. So you just got to bribe them? That'd be cool.
So you have to force them.
Yes, pretty much. But you can do it with money, I guess. Or maybe some type of trade. I'm thinking. The next type are the Ifrit. I think I've heard of these ones before.
Yeah.
Are usually mentioned as being a winged being, strong and cunning. They typically live underground, but were known to marry humans. Ooh,
Why would you need wings?
those little sneaky bastards.
To fly around in the inner earth.
Yeah.
Winged. Okay. Whatever.
They're susceptible to defeat by humans through magic, but they are mostly depicted as wicked and ruthless. I'll have to brush up on my magic. I prefer to fight me some Ifrits with some magic, if at all possible. Jan, is that Brady?
Jan?
Jan is the one that goes, Marsha.
Don't do it. You can only
We're
say it
talking about
twice.
the Brady, Steve.
I'm
If
talking
you
about
say
the
it the
Brady.
third time,
It's like
get
Beetlejuice,
Does she like fucking appear? Is it like
fucking Bloody
Beetlejuice?
Mary.
no, it's just not good. Let's put it that way.
So the Jan, Jann, are the least powerful Jinn. They live in the desert and enjoy interfering with humans. They are known to insert themselves in wars and take a side of who to help and who to sabotage. Interesting. So they're like gremlins. And the final one that we got here is the Shaitan. Shaitans shall come for you. Shaitan are the evilest type of Jinn. They lack many of the powers of other Jinn, but enjoy suggesting evil into man and other Jinn. You could call them expert pot stirrers, or as I like to call them,
Steve Alcorn.
I don't know where I got that reputation.
Shaitan. That's your new name, Steve. Fucking Shaitan.
I'll stick with Sweetwater.
The legend. You are the legend, Steve.
So
Yeah.
the description of Jinn starts out with they have the choice of being good or evil. And then as you go through the descriptions of each one, all of them chose to be evil.
Pretty much, yeah. They're all just mother. Well, no, like, okay. So I think they're depicted as wicked and ruthless, and
Like the noble ones that you have to like force to like grant wishes are the good ones.
Well, I think that I think you could suppose those ones might be because, like, all right.
But if
So
they were good, why would I have to force them to do it?
well, you're a good person, but if I want you to come build a fucking house for me, Matt, I'd have to force you to fucking do it.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
You're just not going to open your wallet just because I asked you to.
maybe these wish things that they grant are like it's very
Kind of a pain in the
something
ass
away-
for them.
It takes something away from them, you know. It's like it's like, oh, you're gonna fucking do this goddamn, fucking lift the goddamn wish.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna go somewhere later.
You know, so
From
that's
everything I read, it really seemed like in order to encounter a good one, you had to build a good relationship with them. You had to scratch their back and then they'd scratch your back. It wasn't that they were going to go out of their way to be nice to you, but if you
I'm
did
always like,
them-
Jeannie, if you'd like to come over and like smoke some fucking reefer, like we'll just hang out. I'm gonna get my wishes on the down low.
Totally unrelated, but related to what we're talking to. On the internet, I learned something this week on Facebook, you know, which happens every now and then through a meme.
Hmm.
So apparently, in the movie Wizard of Oz,
Mm-hmm.
the good witch Glinda, I think was her name.
Mhm.
Glinda the good witch, yeah. She asked Dorothy, "Are you a good witch or a bad witch?"
Yes.
But she also tells Dorothy that only bad witches are ugly.
Yes.
So if only bad witches are ugly, but she had to ask Dorothy if she was a good witch or a bad witch, she called Dorothy ugly.
You might be onto something. You might be onto something, Matt. All I know for fact is that no little person hung
Yeah.
themselves.
No small
sex.
persons were harmed in the filming or colorization of this movie.
Did I tell you guys I finally watched the Dark Side of the Moon?
That whole
Yeah,
line 'em up thing. Yeah.
Wizard of Oz thing. Somebody put it on YouTube. So one day I sat down and I watched it, and I don't get it.
You weren't impressed, were you?
Listen, people had told me, like, this is the most amazing thing you're ever going to see in your life. How crazy this is. And I watched it.
And it was like turning the sound off on your TV and having the stereo on with anything on.
It was a movie.
I didn't.
Music.
I mean, if somebody played Dark Side of the Moon and turned the sound off on this podcast, I mean, it'd be like the same thing to me. Like, I didn't see how they just like synced up perfectly and like.
No, I didn't either. At all.
No.
Yeah, it was so disheartening. I was like, oh, really? Maybe I should try to get on mushrooms.
Yeah.
No. Like, that was the other thing, too. Like, when I was growing up, everybody was like, you got to listen to Pink Floyd on acid, man. You got to listen to it on acid or on mushrooms, man. That's how you really feel it. That's how you really feel it. Is it how you really feel it?
Well, apparently I never did enough of anything because I never felt Pink Floyd.
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to break down some walls for people. The Wall is an album. It's an album written by Roger Waters. The Wall is about how he was sick and tired of going to shows to perform his music in front of hundreds of fucking obliterated, high, tripping out motherfucking fans who weren't listening to his music and weren't paying attention to what he was saying. And what did they do? They continued to do drugs and came and listened to his music.
That would be kind of disheartening, though, if you think about it. Like, if you're an artist that just pours everything into it, you know,
Yeah.
and like you're trying to leave this legacy behind with your life, and it happens to be picked up by like the party drug crowd.
Yeah,
And that's how and that is what The Wall is about. There's an interview that Roger Waters did with Larry King. I think it was in the 90s, and he talks about it. And if you go and you listen to that album, he says it in the very first In the Flesh, I think is the first song on the album. He's so you thought you might like to come to the show or go to the show to feel the warm thrill of confusion, that space cadet glow. It's right there in the beginning of the fucking song, the album. He talks about it like, you fucking ignorant fucks. And it's all about, you know, tearing all that down so that he's naked on stage. That's what that whole album's about, just tearing everything away so that it's just him bare on stage. It's such a great album. But people don't give it the due. The thing that really irritates me is when I hear like Another Brick in the Wall part whatever on the fucking radio. Like one little segment of The Wall. Like, listen, if you're a radio station DJ, just start it at the fucking first track and
Yeah, isn't The Wall meant to be like just like one continuous thing?
Yes. One song goes into the next. It is one whole complete story. You know, and my favorite Pink Floyd album is Animals.
Now that's the one before they became famous, right?
That
like
was
back from the 60s or
I
whatever.
think that Animals is I believe is the first album written by Roger Waters. It was after Syd Barrett went crazy and left the band. Because before then, Syd Barrett was the lyricist and he was writing. And Roger was doing some of it. But then after Syd left, I believe it was Animals was Roger Waters' first full album. It might have been one before that. But Animals is my favorite album. It is it's such a beautiful piece of music from beginning to end. But it's one of those things where I can't just listen to fucking dogs. I have to listen to fucking Pigs on the Wing Part 1, and then fucking dogs, and then fucking.
These are songs, Steve.
Yeah.
I've got to hear pigs before I can listen to dogs barking.
That's right. I got to hear the
What
pig.
are you talking about?
It's such a great album, and yeah, a lot of their stuff you really should listen to it as one complete thing. That's the way it's designed, and especially with The Wall is one that really irritates me, that they cut out songs and just play those on the radio, because it just wasn't designed that way. There's a lot of stuff that Tool does that's that way too. Tool does a lot of music that's very, one song bleeds into the next, and I've always loved their music and always will. Those guys do some amazing things. Just, I remember I owned, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce the goddamn album. I don't know if it's an Enema or Anima, whatever the fuck that fucking album is. I owned that thing, I think, for 2 years and listened to 2 songs off of it. This is back when I first started listening to Tool. And then somebody had played something else off it. What the fuck is that? And they're like, it's Tool. It's off of fucking,
the album you own.
That album that I can't pronounce. And I was like, oh, fucking cool. So I went home and I listened to it. And then I finally just listened to it from beginning to end. And I went, what the fuck?
You mean they have a song besides Sober?
Well, that was the one with Stinkfist. If you remember that song.
I think that's the album I had.
Yeah, and from there on, I just fell into that rabbit hole with Tool. Those guys, yeah, I mean, just so, like, just amazing music. Like, just takes you on a fucking trip. Like, even without drugs. You're fucking listen to some fucking Tool. Some good shit. But yeah.
You sing about dogs too?
Sometimes.
Mm.
He sings about all kinds of shit, man.
Awesome.
Maynard's awesome, dude. He makes wine in Arizona. He grows fucking grapes and makes wine in Arizona.
Hmm.
And he has like 3 bands.
And he's intelligent.
A Perfect Circle, Pucifer, and Tool. And he was in the and he was in the Marines.
Mm.
Yeah. Did you know that he had to have his fucking knees replaced because of how much he was stomping on stage at concerts?
Jeez. I would say Tool would also classify as one of those bands, though, that like are way better and deeper, but are underappreciated because of the crowd that they drew.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they fell into that pit of, popular 90s rock alternative crap. Like the most horrible time in music.
I look back on it now and it kind of was.
Oh, it was horrible.
You got some good stuff.
Yeah.
Some good stuff.
But recently I was like joking around with this other guy and we were like naming off like some of the crap that came out, and like I had forgotten about a lot of it, but there was just like so much garbage that was so popular, like Spin Doctors, Hootie and the Blowfish, like all that.
I like Hootie and the Blowfish.
Of course you do, Steve.
Fuck Hootie and the Blowfish.
Darius Rucker, man.
Crash Test Dummies.
Oh my god, that was good stuff.
No, it's horrible. Like you have like a whole generation of nothing but one-hit wonders.
Who did the Peaches song? That was great.
Dead Presidents.
Hey,
yes.
Hey, Matt. Closing time.
What's wrong with that stuff?
The anthem, the bar anthem.
That's like childhood nostalgia for me. That's like what
I'm sure it is.
Stuff.
That's like our
just
high
don't
school
appreciate
years.
That's
like high school and right out of high school. Possum Kingdom.
Oh, the Toadies.
Oh God.
I'm just saying you don't.
By my side. I fucking loved that shit back when I was in it.
Yeah.
Oh God, Jackal.
No.
Tell me you couldn't sit down and listen to some Jackal right now.
I love that commercial that comes on TV where she's like, "I've got a rat problem in my basement," and it's Rat playing, and they're all old.
That is good. That is a good one. They get me with some of them motherfucking commercials.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rat problem one was pretty good. But dude, I like Rat. I still
Me
will
too.
listen
Way Cool Jr., man. What are you talking about?
I will still fucking listen to Round and Round.
Yeah.
I mean, I will still listen to some of their music. Those guys, it fucking still rocks. Still rocks. I fucking love that shit. But yeah, that Dark Side of the Moon and Wizard of Oz thing. What a fucking what a flop for me.
Farce.
I was so like, what is this? What the fuck is this? Have any of you watched that fucking Have a Good Trip yet on Netflix?
No.
Oh,
I'm not even going to tell you what I've been doing.
Oh my God.
I'm ashamed to even say it.
Katie, have you seen it yet?
No, but it's on my list.
Oh, like it is so good. I watched it again with my son. And I fucking loved it all over again. It's such a great documentary on psychoactive drugs. It's so good. Like, because they talk about how when you do mushrooms or you do acid, it's not a party thing. If it is, then that's what you do it for, and you're dumb. It's different. Like their whole take on it was it's a different thing. It's an experience. And one of the things that I think it was Sting who said it was that bad trips, he always learned something from it. So it was never bad. Like he always took something from the experience. So even if it made him feel bad in the moment, it wasn't in the end. And I mean, I think everybody should check it out. It's such a great documentary on it. And it's funny too. Like they take a lighthearted look at it. They do like an ABC after school special during the whole thing about fucking LSD and shit, which is really funny. But I fucking really enjoyed it. So how's things been going, Steve? You seem pretty out of touch tonight. Or maybe you are in touch with yourself, and maybe that's why you've been so out of touch with us, is your fucking hands on the legend. I mean, I don't know. So, figured I'd try to get something out of you. No.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
Takes more than a hand.
2 hands.
Like eating one of those big old hoagies.
You gotta get a good grip.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's like going to that steak restaurant where they have that big giant steak, and if you eat the whole thing in one sitting, you get it for free. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, all right.
And nobody can do it because
I like you better when you're not bragging. I like you better when you're modest about it. When we're like fucking making it out to be like your hog is huge. I'm just telling you how I like it.
However, you have to admit,
that big. Is that
I mean, he's taken bragging to a whole new level. I mean, he's merchandising the brag at this point.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe you. You are a fucking whore.
You got to do what you got to do.
I hear you. Oh, I hear you.
I haven't
Absolutely.
sold one of these hats, so don't say I'm merchandising it.
Yeah. Have you shipped one to me yet?
I didn't think you'd want one of these.
Oh. Without the Sweetwater Legend part, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna, because of that hat, I'm gonna make a cryptid tale titled "The Sweetwater Legend." I'm gonna create a Bigfoot story
called the Sweetwater Legend.
Yeah.
I love it.
as long as I get credit for it, and then any revenue,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
any revenue stream will have to be split.
No,
50-50.
all the revenue goes to Matt in this case.
No, that's not right.
Yeah.
It's using my.
There is no revenue.
Is
Yeah,
this is this short story going to wind up being like one of those like middle-aged woman softcore porn books? 'Cause it's kind of the
Because
direction.
if so,
Is this a penthouse forum?
dear BFRO, I never thought it would happen to me.
Oh
Yeah.
God, that's great. Do it.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh fuck.
50
Yeah.
Shades of Bigfoot.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking much. People are fucking weird.
No shit.
People are fucking weird. They'd buy that shit.
Yeah.
People buy fucking Bigfoot porn fucking books.
Yeah.
For
A
fuck's
lot
sake.
of them. A lady became wealthy
Yeah.
selling Bigfoot erotica.
Matt, I think we should find our niche in the erotica world of supernatural.
I think it's all occupied.
I mean, I think there's a corner somewhere. There's gotta be.
We're gonna have to wait until a new cryptid comes out.
Momo. I mean, that writes itself. I think anyway. Personally. But I think we should find a little corner of the supernatural erotica world and like hammer away. Make our mark. Oh yeah. Listen, I've sent some pretty steamy texts to some women. Many of which that I've almost accidentally sent to my mother.
Yeah.
But hey,
Oh, Lord.
I'm not too sure how well a dick pic translates into print. I mean, I've seen some clever things in chat rooms. But
you know, we could do. We could have Steve. We could do like what they used to do on Opie and Anthony show when they'd fuck up. They'd have the guys read hardcore gay porn. So whenever Steve fucks up on the show, we'll have Steve read hardcore gay porn live on air. The look on his face.
do they make Amish erotica?
Oh, they have to.
They do now.
On Steve's fucking Amazon store.
Rumspringa.
Digital download.
I'm gonna guess somebody's already done it.
He's looking it up right now.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
Okay, let's see.
How
erotic
fucking-
romance?
can I
Amish
just-
passion erotic romance?
Can I ask everybody on this podcast, how cringy is it at this point what they're doing with the night fucking talk shows on TV right now?
Oh, God.
They are doing what we do.
Yeah. And they're bad at it.
and not any better than we do.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Like, I mean, some of them have like, are trying to do like their own. Oh, Katie says, yeah, it exists.
Maynard pulled Tessa's bloomers down around her ankles.
Maynard and Tessa?
Yeah.
The cheese had curdled that morning.
I knew a Mennonite named Maynard.
Mennonite. Yes.
It was more than butter getting churned that night.
We were in the barn, so I lathered it up.
You wouldn't see. You guys are wrong. Amish erotica. You wouldn't be able to read any of that stuff. So it'd just be a plain book. Just a regular book about Amish people. Because it can't have erotica. It doesn't exist.
That's the point.
That's right. That's why we should make it.
That's
No,
a
no,
niche
but
that's not
see-
being filled.
It is being filled. There's a
Oh,
trilogy.
Yeah.
actually.
Katie says it's being filled.
I have not clicked
It's
on
filled by a big Amish cock.
it.
Fucking hell.
Goddamn
Goddamn Amish people.
My brother-in-law is former Amish. I hope
You've said that a few times.
Yes.
What made him get out?
He was Amish. What more does it
What,
take?
what do you mean?
He didn't like raise a barn every weekend.
Life.
Oh,
A car drove by one day, and he's like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
What am I
Same
doing with
reason.
this fucking horse?
You remember in the '90s, all that college girls gone wild shit? Like,
Same reason all Amish boys, mostly boys, because the women tend to stay, but the guys,
hit
because
puberty.
there are too many fucking rules.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Too many fucking rules.
Most of this erotica seems to be runaways, girls. That whole Rammstein or whatever they call it.
Rumspringa.
Whatever.
Completely different. Although there are some similarities if you're talking about erotica.
So that's the common storyline I'm seeing here.
An Amish
So-
girl runs away to a Rammstein concert,
Yeah, yes, Matt.
becomes a Rammstein fucking.
Du hast mich.
Would you like to come on the bus?
Fucking, I listen. That fucking song could be about fucking, bringing back the Nazi regime. I don't give a fuck. It sounds awesome.
It gets everybody going.
Here's the thing. So, like, that song got popular in that same period of time we were talking about earlier.
Actually, it was a little after.
Yeah, it was
Could
like
be-
the second
yes.
band's
Second
tour
wave.
of whatever it was called. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like if you listen to that band, that's just how that guy sings every single song.
Oh yeah.
He's just like a German guy that just yells into the microphone.
Yeah. Du.
Yeah.
And that song is like, I guess like du hast means like I hate or I love you. It can mean either.
Yeah.
It's like got a dual meaning. It's like that's pretty fucking weird, but that's like so like when Germans are like saying like I love you, they're saying also saying I hate you. I don't get it. And it's kind of weird to me.
The German language is pretty weird.
Hmm.
Germans are pretty weird.
Yeah, they are kind of strange.
I'm saying that from German heritage, who has taken like multiple years of German.
Yeah, I think it's my grandfather's. My grandfather's side is German. On my mom's side. So yeah.
I can count to 10 in German. Does that count?
Can you?
Yeah.
I used to be able to sing "Oh Christmas Tree." Oh Tannenbaum, wie grün sind deine Blätter.
Oh. Very
Yeah.
nice.
I don't remember the rest of it, but I used to be able to sing the whole thing.
I could
At
get
one
I
point
could
in
get
time.
the Tannenbaum.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
it.
Yeah.
I usually stop there and go, "The Royal Tannenbaums." Didn't see that movie, Steve. Missed that one, did you?
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Was that Wes Anderson, Matt?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, who's the guy that died over? Fred Willard.
Oh man, what a loss.
Fuck.
What a loss.
I heard that and I fucking went ballistic. He's in that movie, Have a Good Trip.
So great.
He's great in
Such
everything.
a brilliant comedic actor, comedian. Like his delivery. I mean,
Big.
geez.
Ah.
He was like a straight delivery, but still just hilarious.
I don't remember what movie it was. I want to say it was The Aristocrats or something, where he is sitting out in his garden and they're talking to him, and he's got one of those gazing crystal ball things, and he's being a jackass, and it is brilliant.
Yeah.
He's
so great.
Those fucking movies, Christopher Guest movies that he's been in. Oh man, we lost an acting comedic icon in Fred Willard. Guy is great. So you guys should fucking go check out some of this shit if you haven't. So I got to see my son this past week because he came over on Tuesday and stayed through Wednesday. He went home Wednesday night. And I watched fucking Logan Lucky with him. And I'm still not sure. Like, I think I'm going to ask him when he comes over next time if he caught me crying. I fucking had seen this movie before, okay? And I totally forgot. Like, I was like, oh, this fucking movie's hilarious. Because Daniel Craig is like, if you haven't seen Logan Lucky, it's fucking awesome. Daniel Craig is so awesome in this. And fucking Kylo Ren, what's his fucking name? Adam Driver. He's awesome. And Channing Tatum's great. And there's this little girl, and I'm gonna spoil this part of the movie. So if you haven't seen it, and you want to see it, shut your fucking shit off. There's a girl that she's the daughter of the Channing Tatum's character, and she's gonna do a talent show, and she's gonna sing this song by this Leah somebody, and at the end when her father comes in, because he comes in to see her perform, she changes it up and she sings John Denver, which is his favorite song, and I fucking lose it, because I'm just fucking like, Rocky Mountain, look at that, almost heaven. So I'm over here, I'm like literally doing this shit. I'm grabbing fucking tissues and shit, and I'm like fucking looking over and like fucking wiping my fucking eyes because he's fucking like right here, right next to me.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
I'm not crying, man. I'm not crying. Oh God, that one got me. I was like, oh dude. But I was talking with my aunt the other day about this. Is like, as we get older, you just fucking do it, and you just don't give a shit anymore. Like, you just don't care. It fucking comes out, And I'm a fucking sap at fucking heart. I see shit like that. I go, she loves her daddy, which is fucking sweet as hell. But so next week on the show,
dun, dun, dun.
As Steve likes to call him, the fifth Beatle, Steve Culls will be on the show again to talk about his.
Don't need nothing but a good time, Coles.
That's right. To talk about his book. 50? No, not 50 Lunch.
Please, God, no.
Not again. The Sasquatch Playbook. I fucked that one up. Which Katie's been reading. I got into a little bit, and I need to finish.
I did not get a copy of this.
What's Katie's take so far?
I like it so far.
Yeah.
I need to buckle down and finish it, but I like it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I can plow through it this week. I'm pretty sure the speed that I read, I can make it. So
it can't be that big of a book.
No, it's not. Like, I'll probably finish it in an afternoon if I really sat down. So we will be talking with Steve about his book, the Sasquatch Playbook, which I had started it and I didn't realize, some of the things about Steve that I learned about right off the bat in the book. So it's kind of interesting, and it'll be interesting to have him on again. I know he's had some fucking a crazy array of guests lately on his show.
He's yeah.
He had
which we may like, and some of them which we may.
Well, did we talked about him having fucking Richter on?
I had Stacy Brown on.
Oh yeah, that's right too. He did have Stacey Brown on. That one I didn't check out at all. That one I didn't check out. But
then he had who else did he have on?
Who do you have on with Richter? Who it was the guy,
Russell
the bot?
Accord.
Yes,
Oh, Accord, yeah.
yes, Mr. Accord. Who my thought was like at one point when I was watching that, I was like, would I like to have him on
The
to
leader
see
of the Gimlin Guard.
right to see like where we could go with it, like if he would fucking even do it, which he probably
wouldn't do
wouldn't. But then I was like, we'd wind up being not dick. I don't think we'd be dicks, but we'd wind up coming
Well, you know
off
how stuff
negative.
happens in politics where
Yeah.
like they say that like, you know, information will come out about a politician and get like a bunch of drama going, and then they say like the other side creates a fake news event to distract you from the other story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so like everybody was talking about what was it, Expedition Bigfoot, and how they lied and hoaxed and all that shit, and
Yes.
Russell Cord was the main culprit in all of that.
Exactly.
And then while everybody's like coming down on him, all of a sudden we have Gimlin Gate 2.0 happen, and everybody forgets about that. And now Russell Accord is like the main witness on the
fucking
stage.
hero
Like,
now.
yeah,
Oh, son of a-
like I don't know what's
I can't
going
keep
on.
up with this shit.
I don't listen. I don't. It sounds like a fucking. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like every time I hear about the Bigfoot community, it sounds like the end of Soap. You remember Soap, Steve?
I remember there was a TV show called
On
Soap.
the next Soap. That's
so much.
that's what. Whenever I hear about this bullshit in the fucking Bigfoot community, that's what I think of. I think of how they go through all the bullshit things that are going to happen on the next episode of Soap. It just fucking, it's a joke. It's a
Joke for a
fucking
long time.
joke. The fact, listen, Steve had these people on. That's fine. That's great. Whatever. You do a Bigfoot podcast. The fact that they fucking want to parade this fucking bullshit around. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Like the whole thing with the Bigfoot massacre. Who cares? Who really gives a fuck?
I'm gonna guess that the person who we're standing with is sitting at home thinking to himself, I don't give a fuck. It's old fucking news. We debunked this shit years ago.
Why does it matter?
Bob doesn't even care.
Well, I can tell you this much. As you well know, I have withdrawn myself from the Bigfoot community lately.
Yes.
Nice. Good idea.
Permanently retired.
Great. Awesome.
Not dealing with the bullshit.
Matt went out on top as a
Good
Bigfoot
decision.
expert.
But like now, seeing all this shit, it probably wouldn't be that great of an idea to get a Bigfoot on video and put it out there.
No.
Like if you were to ever get any footage of a Bigfoot, I would highly suggest just keeping it to yourself. I mean, because I know I wouldn't want to get like a piece of video footage of it and put it out there and then come to find out in 50 years somebody said like made up a complete bullshit story about it and there's like people that believe it. Like that would piss me off.
I mean, I just don't see like the whole thing, the whole story. Like, okay, so he thinks he saw something in the images. Ba da 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 da. There was a Bigfoot massacre. Ba da da da. And now people believe that shit. Like, I look at those people like I look at the Johnson people. Like, you want to talk about fucking sheeple. Those are sheeple. Those are fucking sheeple. Like, and I can't, I know that people can be fucking dinks in that community. And I know that people can be assholes. But I can't imagine that it's as bad as they're making it out to be. Like, I can't. Does Bob need like an armed guard or something? I mean, Like, but that's what they make it out to be right now. Like, and I don't think it's that way. But
I don't think there's anybody out there thinking they massacred all these Bigfoots. Let's go kill Bob Gimlin. I mean, I don't think that's the, let's go attack that man.
See, here's the
He's on
problem.
plane,
There's
let's
like
beat the fuck out of him.
there's like people who are passionate about the subject, and I understand that. But then there's also a whole lot of people that are just overly fucking dramatic.
Oh, there are.
oh yeah, and it's just you just have to ignore them. Like in some cases you have to address it. I mean, I think there are some cases where you just have to address something, nip it in the bud.
But it's already been addressed.
Yeah, exactly.
Now
So, like
there's
I said,
a
who
new
cares?
guy that's trying to like build a reputation for himself and get followers so he can make more money off of his YouTube channel that has found this like group of people, that were kind of shunned
that-
by the
He's
community
that
or
fucking
whatever.
how
and
to
he-
hunt guy, right?
Yeah, so
He's been around
he's
for
just like
years.
playing to like these people that were overlooked.
Yeah.
And I mean, those people, I mean, the massacre theorists never went away. I mean, they were always there. They were just
Oh yeah, they were. All, I remember hearing about him or seeing
Because
them.
it was like, don't you remember? I don't want. Never mind.
the massacre.
It's gonna
theory
upset
a little bit
Matt.
before me.
It is like we're talking like Ohio Bigfoot Conference 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like a conversation that happened in the lobby of the lodge like 10 years ago in Ohio after the conference was over created all of this.
Wow.
Oh, nothing good.
MK Davis showing some pictures of the
Nothing
Patterson
good.
film on his laptop computer to a group of people sitting around.
Nothing good comes from the Ohio Bigfoot Conference. I'm sorry. Ever.
I'm gonna change gears for a second before we end the show. I did check out, and I mentioned this to Matt earlier in the week, The Conjuring 2. What a bag of shit. Well, not a bag of shit in a movie. It's an okay movie, right? Like as a movie, it's all right. Okay. But it's about the Enfield haunting in England. And what a bag of dog shit that was. What an over dramatized. There is a scene where Ed Warren, God rest his soul, fucking busts his way up through a basement into the house to save the children.
Good old Ed.
I'm
With
watching
what?
this with his hands. He busts up through the floor,
Flooring.
gets into the
He didn't bust
house,
through a door. It was the actual floor.
the actual floor.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
Yeah. And at that point, I'm like, really, Hollywood? I get it. You guys are trying to make this thing, but what a bag of horse shit. Like, I've read about the Enfield haunting.
And that's the one with the little girl jumping on the bed.
Yes, that would be the one. And it just seems bullshit. And that's another one of those Ed and Lorraine Warren cases where, like, it had happened after Amityville, I guess. But what a fucking joke. And it's an okay horror movie. It's okay. But it's not it didn't grab me, and then the fact that I kind of know the story a little bit and I saw all this other bullshit, but that scene where he's breaking up through the floor, I was just like, all right, I'm out. Tapping. I've had it. Get me the fuck out of here. But I need good horror.
Like
nowadays.
in the next one, they're gonna have Lorraine like zip lining into a place as it's
No
exploding.
Like, I mean, it's gonna be like Mission Impossible. Like, no shit.
Mission Impossible. What about that fucking news?
He's doing another one
Tom Cruise getting to film a movie on the space station
in space.
We're letting
For real?
crazy ass Tom
Yes.
Cruise,
Yes.
an actor,
Yes.
a Scientologist, Go into outer space and get on the space station and film a movie. We're letting that happen.
In space.
I can't go into space and do that. Like they're not going to let me on the space station to do something.
You're not Tom Cruise. You're not a Scientologist.
But this crazy fucker could get up there and like hijack the thing. He's a Scientologist.
He's a fucking Tom Cruise. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Man, I don't even know what to think at this point. The Mission Impossible franchise. I watched the last one. I was still entertained.
I could possibly understand. We're doing a documentary about the space station, and we're going to bring Tom Cruise up here to be narrator. But this is just, I want to film a movie in space.
Well, listen.
Well, it would be the first one, wouldn't it? First one.
How
it's
much
not
of
on a soundstage. It's in
I'll-
outer space.
I'll bet you NASA is getting a huge kickback.
Of course they are. It's a huge promotion for them.
Yeah.
At a time they need it, you know.
It's actually good. Okay. I'm a big Neil deGrasse Tyson fan. And one of the podcasts I was listening to him talk, he was talking about innovation and where a lot of our innovation has come from. And a great deal of our innovation has come from learning how to do things in space. Like the handheld drills that you have today that are cordless are because they needed to have that shit in space.
Yes, I get and I understand all that. And I've also been told my entire life through documentaries and television shows and reading how you have to be like the best of the best and trained for years. And you have to be so careful and like perfect in all of your actions and your thoughts while you're up there to make sure nothing goes wrong, because just the slightest thing could cause catastrophe and it costs billions and billions of dollars. And we're going to let Tom Cruise go up there and shoot a movie. Okay.
Yeah.
It's always just been understood.
Because there's
that
no chance
Tom-
of him like accidentally bumping into something and blowing the place up.
You've got it wrong, Matt. It's always been understood that if Tom Cruise wanted to go to outer space, Tom Cruise could go to outer space.
Tom Cruise thinks he's already come from outer space.
I'm just saying, you don't have to read about it somewhere. It's just Tom Cruise wants to go to space.
But do you remember the promo video for the Scientology where Tom
What
Cruise is
happens?
like,
What happens when he?
planet to be a hero?
What happens when he opens the door to the space station to like go to Xenu?
Right. Like I've seen a video where he's talked about he was put on this earth to be a hero and a savior and all this, and now we're letting him go to the space station.
Yep.
To me, that's a bad idea.
It's pretty wacko. It's pretty fucking wacko.
It's gonna be fun.
I'll watch it. Fucking damn Skippy.
First movie ever filmed in space. Of course you got to watch that.
That Mission Impossible Fallout was great.
I'll even watch this one.
And that's the real kicker of it all. Because his crazy ass is an entertainer. He's great at it. And I love his movies. And
I don't love all of his movies. I've liked the Mission Impossible movies for the most part. There were a couple of them I didn't like. I really like him in The Last Samurai.
Okay, I'm using the word love in place of the word like. None of his movies, other than Top Gun, would ever make like my list of like, oh yeah, this would be my playlist, forever.
Right. But I really enjoyed The Last Samurai.
It was a great movie. Absolutely.
It's a great movie. It really shows Tom Cruise's depth as an actor. It's one of those movies that does. And is it Ken Watanabe?
I think so, yeah.
That is opposite him, and he is fucking great in that movie too. But his movies, they don't resonate with me most of the time. But the Mission Impossible movies have been entertaining. I've liked them. So fuck, I'll watch it. Give me a fucking Mission Impossible in space. I don't give a fuck. I'm just listen, and you and I talked about this. I'm going to do this right before we wrap up. The Snyder Cut.
Yeah, man.
So for those of you who don't know, a few years ago now, they released a movie called Justice League. Justice League was riddled with problems during production. I do believe Zack Snyder left at some point. He was directing the movie, and they brought in Joss Whedon to finish directing the film. And then they put out the film. Well, there's been this big cry for release the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. And basically a bunch of people on the internet bullied a movie company into releasing something that they had no intention of releasing originally.
Which is just Zack Snyder taking all of the film,
Yes,
and editing it to how he would have done it.
And some people have said it's great. And
Maybe it is, but
I don't know. Like,
do we remember Sonic the
at
Hedgehog?
what point? Yes, which people loved, by the way, when it came out.
Yeah.
That was like a beloved movie.
But
Uh,
it would have been out like a year before that.
right, but people just had problems with the fucking face.
Yeah. We don't like its face. Change it.
Yeah. So
And
that's what
they did.
So, and I'm not like I'm not a fucking huge person or anything, but I create something every week here. We get together and we create this show. Okay. What is it like? Are we gonna have people coming back like later on, like, and we're gonna have to redo shows? No, there comes a point when this is what you got.
Yeah.
Like, I like the fact that there's a process and you get a finished product. However, I'm also torn because Zack Snyder has put out some of the craziest awesome movies of my life. The Watchmen, 300, Man of Steel, that crazy fucking owl movie that you and I talked about. And I fucking love his movies. I think Watchmen, scene for scene, pace, tempo, it is the best comic book movie to date ever made. It's amazing. And to the credit of it, you and I were also talking about how I've never seen like a director's cut that's totally changed the movie. And then I was like, well, to the credit of it, Batman versus Superman, like the extended edition on that really fills in a lot of gaps that if you watch the original, you're like, why is Superman so mad at Batman? But then if you watch the extended edition, it all fucking makes sense. So I'm really torn about this one. Like, I really want to see it because I'm a huge fan of Zack Snyder, but I'm kind of pissed that this happened. So, and like, I don't think it's going to fucking invigorate that Justice League franchise, what they had before. Affleck's already left, and the fucking Cavill is like, what, fucking like hanging on by a thread, maybe.
Yeah, he was like, I'd have to fact check myself. I think he was like in like the CW Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover.
Jesus.
Yeah. I think they brought him on that. Well,
Yeah.
you talk, I'm going to Google that.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really torn about this one. I don't know that it's a good idea. I don't know that it's a good thing. I'll watch it because they're going to put it out. They're putting it out on HBO Max, and I've got HBO Now, and I do believe HBO Now just becomes like HBO Max or whatever. So I will be checking it out when it comes out, and I don't know how they're releasing it. They said they might do it as a 4-hour movie or as episodic. So I don't know. I'll check it out. But I'm gonna fucking just wrap this up. It's been fucking 2 hours, and we've been doing light shows lately. We've been doing like 1.5 hour shows, Steve. You've been really quiet tonight, Steve. Is everything all right?
Yeah. Everything's
No, it
okay.
isn't. It's all right. We'll talk after the
I'm
show.
tired.
Oh,
This is
all
my
right.
sleepy time.
Oh, well, I'm sorry that the time of the show is your sleepy time.
Just it is what it is.
Okay. Well, try to be a little bit more cheery next time. See if Marshall will pick you up some cocaine.
I will ask.
She would.
I'm gonna guess no.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Fortean Slip, episode 138, 9, somewhere in there. Djinn And Juice. I will be changing that motherfucker as soon as we're done. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment, subscribe. Check out our good friend Matt Knapp over at youtube.com/Bigfoot Crossroads and youtube.com/Cryptid Tales. You can just check us out over at Anchor at anchor.fm/The Fortean Slip. If you would like to, subscribe, put some money in the old Fortean Slip pocket, you can subscribe and donate 99 cents, I believe, $4 and $5. It's $1, $5, $10 a month. There are a few people who do that. Shelley Robinson over in the UK, Dean Cooper, and Les Eckersley.
Nice.
Which I believe Les is Bad Gaming 69.
I think you could retire soon on that stuff.
Yeah. So and go check out Phil, what he's doing over at youtube.com/Para Breakdown. As always, check out our good friend Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. And always go check out the guys over at High Society Radio. Find them wherever you get your podcasts. And next week, Squatch Detective, squatchdetective.com. Until then, see ya!